Hello, my name is Phil Muirman, the Senior Minister here at the Glen Waverley Anglican Church, known as GWAC. Welcome to this pictorial record of some of the history of this parish and the architecture of the St Barnabas Ministry Centre. I commenced here in early 2019 and I am privileged to be part of this faith community. Its history, facilities and ministries are a great testament to the way in which God led a group of his people at a particular time and place. I trust that you enjoy this presentation. Although the St Barnabas Ministry Centre was officially opened by Archbishop Keith Rayner on the 23rd of November 1997, the history of the parish goes back much further, and that is because Glen Waverley Anglican Church is an amalgamation of three churches and their history has been inherited by GWAC. The three amalgamating churches were St Andrew's Glen Waverley, St Paul's Glen Waverley and St James Sindal. Here is a brief background to these three parishes.
My name is Robin Hickson and I'm a former member of St Andrew's Glen Waverley. St Andrews was established in 1964. The church was built on a small site at 7 Boulevard, Glen Waverley, comprising of just 3 suburban blocks. The building was small, doubling as both a worship centre and parish hall. It also included a small narthex, kitchen and 2 offices. The staff during this time was Reverend Gordon Hargraves, Vicar, Reverend Keel Maslin, Curate, Jeremy Thewlis, Youth Minister, and Irene Buck, Part-time Secretary. In spite of cramped conditions, the church maintained steady growth. However, the growth in parishioners, youth ministry, outreach programs and community services were soon restricted by the lack of space and the ability to expand on the site. The building committee was developing plans for a new building, which were taking place during the early discussions of the amalgamation.
My name is Ian Nyholm and I was formerly a member of St Paul's Glen Waverley. St Paul's was established in 1913 and was the eldest of the 3 churches. Its first permanent building was built in 1925 and a second worship area was added in 1978. The church was located at 758 Waverley Road, Glen Waverley. The staffing of the parish in 1993 was the Reverend John Harrower, Vicar, Reverend Greg Allenson, Curate, Dale Barclay was full-time youth worker, Megan Collins was a part-time assistant youth worker, Helen Johnson was a part-time pastoral worker, and Bev Green was a part-time secretary. By 1993, its facilities consisted of the worship area, the Dunscombe Hall, the original church, and a kindergarten operated by a third party. The growth at St Paul's was in its youth ministry, outreach programs, and local community services. Early in 1993, there was a proposal to renovate on the site. However, it did not progress, and in hindsight, it would not have accommodated the growth we were experiencing. And so for St Paul's, like St Andrews, amalgamating became a compelling solution.
My name is Chris Brassington, and I was a long-time member of St James Sindal. St James, a daughter church of St Stephen's, Mount Waverley, grew from humble beginnings. It started in a family home in 1953 and was situated in Sindal, surrounded by bushland within a valley between Mount Waverley and Glen Waverley. In 1993, the St James Ministry Centre was finally constructed and located at 380 Blackburn Road, Glen Waverley. It was consecrated on the 25th of July 1993 by Archbishop Keith Rayner. The vicar was the Reverend Dick Wallace. Yet it was becoming clear that in spite of the best efforts of the church staff and the popularity of its healing ministry, the low numbers of parishioners cast a cloud over the long-term future of St James. And so the prospect of amalgamating with St Andrews and St Paul's was a compelling solution.
My name is Pat Hodges, a long-time member of GWAC. I would like to outline the process by which 3 Anglican parishes in the Glen Waverley area came together to form a new vibrant faith community. The starting point to amalgamating the 3 churches goes back to 1993, when the Archbishop in Council of the Diocese of Melbourne established a select committee to prepare a paper toward 2001 on ways to improve the functioning of the diocese in the new millennium. Members of the committee were Reverend John Harrower, then Vicar of St Paul's, Glen Waverley, Reverend John Howells, Reverend Dr Peter Marshall, Mr John Lester, Dr Muriel Porter and Archdeacon Andrew Curnow. The Toward 2001 paper included recommendations with respect to parishes restructuring so as to secure their long-term viability within the diocese. In 1993, after studying the paper, the neighbouring churches of St Andrews, St Paul's and St James began an exploratory conversation about amalgamating. The conversation was led by the vicars of the 3 parishes, Reverends John Harrower St Paul's, Dick Wallace St James and Gordon Hargreaves St Andrews. At the time, there was a total of about 450 weekly worshippers in the 3 parishes. The conversation led to a consensus within the wider leadership group, including senior lay leaders, that there was scope to amalgamate based on the recommendations in the Toward 2000 paper, and it would resolve the aforementioned growth problems. The consensus led to this leadership group announcing a possible amalgamation in April 1994 and putting a proposal to amalgamate to a vote among parishioners in June 1994. All parishes voted in favour of the proposal. The process of amalgamating was envisioned to be and proved to be a very complex matter, running over about 4 years from 1993 to 1997. Bishop John Harrower, first Vicar of St Barnabas, summarised it this way. Amalgamating required the sale of the 3 worship centres, purchase of 5 acres of land on Waverley Road, fundraising, integrating ministries, and building the new church centre. There were many steps along the journey from November 1993 to the dedication of the new parish centre in November 1997. The journey was succinctly expressed in these terms by Bishop John Harrower. During those years, we had continual prayer, growing in fellowship, sharing in ministry, planning and engagement with the Diocese of Melbourne. In June 1994, the 3 parishes voted to amalgamate.
My name is Tony Hickson and I was a warden at St Andrews at the time of the amalgamation. Following the vote to amalgamate, an extensive search for land commenced, and in August 1995, suitable land was acquired on the corner of Waverley and Watson's Roads. On the 22nd of August 1995, the 3 parishes were formally dissolved and the Glen Waverley Anglican Church came into being. The newly created parish started to worship together on the 3rd of December 1995 at the former St Paul's site. Here is Archbishop Keith Rayner at the first 8 a.m. Holy Communion service. A combined service was held at 10 a.m. and here is the newly gathered congregation. When we were ready to move into the new facilities, the move was advertised on the notice board.
Hello, I am John Harrower, first Vicar of GWAC. The architects engaged to design the new ministry centre was Smith and Tracy. The design was to be welcoming, family-friendly and capable of expansion. We were blessed by being able to purchase 5 acres of land, and this enabled us to build a contemporary centre with flexible activity spaces. There was ample room for formal and informal gatherings, as well as space for the ministry and administration staff to work. Here is the site plan showing the footprint of the proposed ministry centre, followed by the landscape concept plan. Next is the building layout. These slides show the architect's 4 elevations of the profile of the ministry centre. This sketch depicts the concept for the worship area. Note the prominence of the cross. The V-shaped window behind the cross symbolises the tearing of the curtain at the time of Christ's death. In 1996, Reverend Dick Wallace, Reverend Gordon Hargraves and I spent time with the Reverend Dr. John Williams, far left, to work towards building a sound ministry team. The builder engaged for the project was S.J. Gardner and Sons. Firstly, here is a recent aerial photo of the site. We had many meetings with the architects during the construction phase. In this image, we see John Brace, project officer, on the left, and me second from the right, meeting with 2 representatives of Smith and Tracy. In mid-1996, Reverend Dick Wallace, Reverend Gordon Hargraves and I were privileged to dedicate the site together. The project received favourable publicity in the local newspaper. Here is Reverend Gordon Hargraves on the left and Dale Barclay, Youth Minister, on the right, rejoicing with me at how God had blessed us. Gordon Hargraves and I were both engineers in earlier days, and we enjoyed watching the construction of the new ministry centre. Finally, here are some views of the framework of the building as construction progressed.
Hi, my name is Gayleen Harrower, and I want to tell you how exciting the 23rd of November 1997 was for me. It was the culmination of 4 years of hard work by a large group of dedicated people. The dedication and consecration service for the new St. Barnabas Ministry Centre was a memorable gathering, and so was the open day the following Saturday. Here we see Archbishop Keith Rayner traditionally seeking entry to the new ministry centre for the consecration service. This is a copy of the order of service for that particular service. This photo shows the wonderful open day when we invited the whole community to see how God had blessed us.
Hi, my name is Bree Wilkinson and I'm a member of the ministry team here at GWAC. In my time, I have been amazed at the amount of ministries and initiatives GWAC have developed since 1995. Here is a short summary. Vibrant ministries to children and youth, including playgroups, involvement in Kids Hope program at the Glen Waverley South Primary School, active support of missionaries both here in Australia and overseas, ministry support and encouragement to university students, active support for families and seniors, especially through the Train Your Brain and Easy Does It exercise classes, providing Christian development courses such as Alpha and the Pastoral Care program, and launching our Mandarin ministry in 2021, providing training for future leaders, both lay and ordained, hosting many diocese gatherings and multicultural events. Many parishioners have entered missionary service or the ordained Anglican ministry through the support of GWAC.
Hello, I'm Brad Jackson, Senior Associate Minister here at GWAC. One of the great strengths of our faith community is the way in which we support missions. As a former missionary myself, I know the value of church support for missions, both for missionaries working in Australia and overseas, as they seek to take the good news of Jesus to a needy world. These clocks show our members the times and locations of some of our mission partners. And this display shows the work that they're doing. One of our mission partners is the Mission of Truth Church in Surabaya, Indonesia. In 2021, sadly, their senior minister, Pastor Sartono, died from COVID, and many of our members remember him and his ministry fondly. One program we support through the Mission of Truth is called Change for Change. Our members donate change, and this goes towards funding an education program in Surabaya.
There it appears, and I'm one of the people who operate some of the wonderful technology we have at GWAC. This equipment enables us to show slides and videos during services, as well as live stream to people who are unable to attend worship or are located outside the parish. This is the control centre where the sound is monitored, the live stream is mixed and transmitted, and the visuals are managed for both in-house congregation and those watching on live stream. This is a view from the front worship area. On the right is a screen for those in front to read, and the control centre is on the left. We also have various online exposures through our web page enabling, Facebook and Instagram. These media outlets enable us to keep in contact with people in all circumstances.
Hello, it's Robin Hickson, and you saw me earlier on in the video. Now, with my husband Tony, we will show you some of the features of the Ministry Centre. I will start and then hand over to Tony. I'm familiar with the building features because I had the privilege of being on the building committee that planned and oversaw the building of the Ministry Centre. These first few slides show some of the external features of the Ministry Centre. The construction is contemporary. The ministry centre is built on a concrete foundation with steel supports and framework. It blends a combination of sandstone brick, red brick and rendering. This is the entrance. Note the wave roof line. And this is the bell tower. It is understood that the bell is over 50 years of age and was inherited from St. Paul's Church. A steel cross is fixed to the top of the bell tower. The circular shaped roof is over the fellowship area and includes an inverted dome. Here is the inverted dome seen from within the fellowship area. The worship area has accommodation for 450 parishioners. Its seats are arranged in wide rows so as to minimise the distance between the service leaders and parishioners. This is the view of the congregation from the lectern. At the right back of the worship area is the parents and infants nook, which enables parishioners to watch and hear services with their babies and toddlers. This is the congregation's view of the front of the worship area. The V-shaped window symbolises the tearing of the curtain into the Holy of Holies in the temple at the time of Christ's death on the cross. An interesting feature in the stage area is a bath to enable full immersion baptisms. Here is a view of the concealed bath. Here is a view of the baptismal bath when revealed. We have a small chapel which is used for small private gatherings such as memorial services or prayer gatherings. This is the fellowship area. It is set just before the worship area. Reverend John Harrow envisioned it as an area to chat the gospel with his mates. More broadly speaking, it is a place where staff and parishioners can meet, have coffee and chat. By being blessed with 5 acres of land, we were able to afford off-street parking for 150 cars and with room to expand if required. Now, I will hand over to you, Tony.
Thank you, Robin. I will now guide you through more of the features of the ministry centre. The requirements of family run through the features of the church. At the rear of the worship area is the parents and infants nook mentioned earlier. There is a baby change room. We have a secure playground for children. Here are the security gates at the entrance to the playground. And here is a slide, which is just one of the pieces of equipment in the playground. And we have facilities to assist disabled parishioners with wheelchair access, externally with a ramp. And there are automatic doors, as shown in the centre of the picture, to which the ramp leads, as shown at the right of the picture. And internally, we have ramps for wheelchairs. Parishioners are encouraged to wear name tags, and a storage cabinet is provided to assist in that friendly endeavour. Here is an example of one of our multi-purpose rooms. And we also have well-equipped catering facilities. We encourage friendly engagement, and here is a barbecue area which is outside of the fellowship area. Adjacent to the worship area is a garden of remembrance, lovingly moved from St Paul's and St James. It is an area dedicated to the burial of ashes and where relatives and friends can come to pay their respects to their deceased loved ones. GWAC also keeps a memorial book recording all funerals and Thanksgiving services conducted over the years. It is on display in the fellowship area. Within the ministry centre, we have 3 meeting rooms, and here is an example of one of the meeting rooms. Our ministry and administration staff have modern office space in which to conduct church matters. And we have many artefacts. A wooden cross is displayed on the front wall of the worship area. The cross symbolises the death of Jesus Christ for us. And the cross without Jesus' figure reminds us of his resurrection, and which is the hope of Christians. The late Rafe MacDonnell loved to carve wood carvings. His gift to the parish when we moved into our new ministry centre was a set of carvings. The set of carvings represents the story of the 3 churches which, in an act of faith, amalgamated to forge a new future. This carving records the date of the amalgamation. Here is St Paul on one of his missionary journeys. The quill honours his extensive writings known as the epistles. This carving shows St Andrew hauling in a catch of fish. Jesus called Andrew to follow him. And this carving shows St James, the son of Zebedee, a fisherman called to follow Christ. The shell is the symbol of St James. The communion table in the worship area was inherited from St James Church. The communion table used in the chapel is a replica of the communion table used in the worship area and was built by Peter Hughes, a parishioner of the church. This plaque was unveiled by Archbishop Rayner. It recognises his dedication and consecration of the church.
Well, thank you for watching this most impressive pictorial record of the history and facilities we enjoy here at the Glen Waverley Anglican Church. And a big thank you to Mark Horner and all who contributed to put this very professional presentation together. And we pray that it inspires you to want to visit us in the future.